Welcome to Business Class, a podcast for people wanting to upgrade their thinking, upgrade their learning, and upgrade their life. I'm your host, Eugenia Panterhos, founder of Business Class Collective, best-selling author and life coach. If you're an entrepreneur, a startup, or someone who dreams of reaching their full potential, then you're in the right place. You'll feel empowered and inspired to design the life you've always wanted. Let's do this. Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome back to the show. I'm so happy that you're joining me again as I'm building this program and bringing you as much information and inspiration as I can. So it's been a wonderful journey so far, and I've just had so much love sent my way, which is just wonderful. So this week, we're discussing curating your creativity. So everyone is a creative artist one way or another. Whether it's tending a garden, dishing up a spectacularly artistic plate of food, creating new versions of recipes with what's in the fridge, being a master applicator of makeup, building a business, applying brushstrokes on a canvas, or writing musical notes on a sheet of paper. Art is everywhere. It's a natural gift that is essentially unlearned during our developmental years, and only the truly brave give permission to themselves to re-embrace this gift as adults. Creativity and art is also used for therapies that include dance, drama, music, and writing. These expressions are used to promote wellness and self-improvement that can foster healing through the creative process. Creativity abounds if we allow it to, and I feel that the enemy of creativity is self-doubt. George Land was an author, speaker, consultant, and general systems scientist. His research led him to transformation theory and the development of unique strategic thinking and innovation processes for organizations. I know it's been a while ago, but in the mid-60s, he conducted a research study known as the creativity test. He tested children from ages 3 to 5 and then retested the same children at age 10 and then again at 15. He found that the creativity in 5-year-olds was 98%. When they reached 10 years, it went down to 30%. At 15 years old, it was only 12%. The same test was given to 280,000 adults, and the creativity score was around 2%. These statistics are astounding and clearly show that creativity is lost as we age and conform to societal values. Why is creativity so important? Well, firstly, creativity is great for big picture thinking. It takes the focus off the trees and onto the forest. Secondly, it gives permission to become invigorated and energized. You feel different when you're being creative. Thirdly, in the business world, creativity brings solutions for improved services, products, and offerings. Creativity can help to disrupt markets and provide a competitive advantage. Finally, creativity promotes self-expression and an opening up. It's an expansion of possibilities. So, how can we harness our innate skill of creativity? Start by being curious and ask questions. Don't be afraid to be wrong. There are no bad or wrong ideas, but only building blocks for better ideas. Keep learning. Immerse yourself in art, attend galleries and museums, read widely and listen to various genres of music. Get outdoors and take a walk in the park or the beach, watch a sunrise or a sunset. Albert Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. And he's also quoted as saying, creativity is intelligence having fun. We need to give ourselves a permission slip to imagine and have more fun. When imagining, we are being creative, we are stimulating our thoughts and giving birth to new ideas. Creativity and innovation go hand in hand. Consider the businesses that are innovative and creative and have disrupted entire known business models. Think about Uber, a transport company that doesn't own cars, or a food delivery service that doesn't run restaurants. Airbnb is an accommodation provider that doesn't own real estate. There's always the creative process at work. Some of us may not be aware of just how creative we can be or think others are more creative than us. But I'm certain we all have that little bit of artistic flair that separates us from the rest. Creativity begins with an idea, followed by preparation, an incubation period, then inspiration and elaboration. These are not successive stages at all, but are ongoing throughout the entire creative process. Every iteration brings a newer, more detailed, or less bold, or more audacious, or perhaps more colourful or sombre version of whatever we are creating. What can sometimes begin with confusion and fragments of ideas can gradually become something that crystallizes in our thinking and then becomes expressed through exploration and application, and the final result being the representation of our thinking, ideas, and creativity. I experienced all of this when writing my first book, Greek Life. So many things shape art. Hardships and wonderful moments play their part in allowing energy to come through in its own special way. This creativity allows us to put something of ourselves into our art, and that's what makes it unique. Think of a composer of music, a writer, or an artist. Each of these expressions is a representation of the qualities of that person. Are they happy, melancholy, joyous, celebratory, or romantic? These are the expressions that will come forth. Have you ever listened to a piece of music and been totally moved without knowing why? Usually it's because there is something in the expression of that storytelling that you can relate to. I remember some years ago, a friend invited me to attend a classical music evening. The main attraction was a visiting harpist from New York, so I eagerly went along without knowing what the repertoire would be. I sat there calm and comfortable and in anticipation of a wonderful musical experience. The lights dimmed, this glamorous lady walked across the stage and took her seat at the gilded harp. And then I heard it. That first pluck of the string, instantly recognizing what that piece was. My heart nearly stopped and I couldn't breathe. It's a concerto composed in the 30s and it has 3 movements and it's around 20 minutes long. I knew this was going to be a very long 20 minutes. I braced myself and tried to enjoy the experience. But before I knew it, my shoulders were tense, tears streaming down my face, tissues dabbing the tears that expressed a loss from a long time ago. I couldn't believe this was happening and in a public space. And more importantly, I couldn't remember if I had waterproof mascara on. At the intermission, a gentleman to my left asked, "My dear, are you okay?" as he handed me a handkerchief. So very chivalrous. This concerto that was originally composed for guitar resonated with me on such a deep level. The composer wrote about his loss. I had first seen a performance of this concerto on television and it immediately moved me so deeply, but I didn't know why. I mentioned it to my sister, who just happened to have a DVD about the composer and the meaning behind this composition. Finally, it made sense to me and I knew why I was so moved. The music actually spoke to me so very personally, some 60 years after it was written. That is the power of music. And then there's visual art, those masterpieces that had me transfixed as I gazed upon brushstrokes and palettes expressed decades or centuries earlier, or marble carvings that look so full of movement, so awe-inspiring. For as long as I can remember, I've always had a love and appreciation of art. I attended art school in my 20s and learned about composition, techniques and colours, and I proudly have 2 of my pieces hanging in my sitting room. I remember my daughter and I having a painting session at home. It was a fabulous shared experience. but one that reminds me that as artists we are both a vessel and a creator. Art most definitely is an expression and representation of our psyche. There I was with my canvas that was looking also very calm in the beautiful tones of blue and white. Very Mediterranean, by the way. I love that combo, but I'm digressing. I showed my daughter, who suggested that I add a little more depth with darker blue or green. The colour I chose was black, don't ask, and with a sudden swift of strokes painted diagonally across the canvas, my entire artwork changed, and now I was looking at a piece that represented a meteor shower with white spaces that looked like it was filled with hope, blessings, and better things to come. This came so organically, without thinking. It's as if my hand had a mind of its own, or as if there was a force greater than myself using me as a vessel to communicate this image. It was an expression of my highest and fullest self, and an amalgamation of my life's experience. It was joyous, and it was uniquely me. The process included expansion and contraction and tension and release. It felt like this creative energy I was experiencing was almost spiritual. My mood and my feelings and emotions were expressed on that canvas, as was my hope for better days to come. I'm still in awe of this experience. It's amazing what can happen when we get out of our own way. The look on my daughter's face when she saw the final piece was, let me tell you, absolutely priceless. It was shock at first, but then she also saw what this experience had created, and we still talk about it today and sometimes laugh at how this entire canvas was transformed by the simple suggestion to add more depth. By surrendering to the creative surge, I was able to get out of my own way. I didn't overthink nor overanalyze. It happened so organically that it actually felt like a gift. We need to remember that our accidental discoveries are just that, and they are not mistakes. There's a touch of alchemy in being creative. We take existing materials and thoughts and put them together to make them our own. How fabulous is that? Another experience that has remained with me is completing a painting in around half an hour. I was inspired by something I had seen, and of course the idea was not to replicate, but just to use this image as inspiration. So when selecting the colours, I chose black, pink and white as my colour palette. I dabbed the colour onto my artist board, dipping my brushes in water, and just began the process of painting without thinking too much. The result was something that looked like a pink and white frothy shoreline against black sand. In the rose-coloured section, there, quite by accident, was the profile of the Greek god Apollo, the god of music. And within his profile was the face of Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. And there was a standing rabbit, which I saw as a symbol of gentleness, haste, new beginnings, and good luck, and a couchant lion reminding me of my strength and courage. I couldn't have thought, planned, or executed this painting to contain so many symbols, even if I had wanted to. There are so many layers, but each of the symbols represented something within me, and now this painting adorns my bedroom. It brings me hope of continued music, continued love, joyfulness, playfulness, and strength. It was a timely reminder to willingly embrace my masculine and feminine energies. It's an eloquent expression to return to my feminine divine, to intimately understand that there are times to stand in my power and times to submit to what life has to offer, and to enjoy my life as it unfolds, to see the beauty, the reverence, and to have hope. On another note, pun intended, collating playlists has been a lifelong passion. I have cassette tapes and CDs and DVDs that I curated for different events and times in my life. Currently, I have a women empowerment playlist that will get you believing in yourself, and a Rise and Shine playlist so that you can start the morning just right. I've made these two playlists in Spotify specifically for my business class collective community to have access to, so that they can stand in their power and start the day beautifully. If you'd like to access, just email me at the link below the show notes and I'll send them to you. Also, by subscribing to my website, you become a member of an amazing community and you'll receive a free copy of Upgrade Your Life, a guide for success and well-being, delivered straight to your inbox. So, being creative and artistic is like choreographing the energy of any given moment and to expression that energy into storytelling through painting, music, writing, cooking, or whatever means you use. This creative energy can inform your business model and your strategy. It can pave the way for your future and what it looks like. So get out of your own way and harness your own and unique creativity and artistic flair. Keep going in the process of being creative and you'll discover something that resonates deeply. You'll be able to make your own discoveries along the way. A quote by Angela Mayu reminds us that you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. So as you go about your business and your life, think about where you can infuse your life and business with more creativity. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Until next time. You've been listening to Business Class presented by Eugenia Panterhorst, founder of Business Class Collective. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate and review this podcast. Share the love and let your family and friends know too. You can follow Business Class Collective on Instagram and Facebook.